I've really been trying to crack the code on why I have been able to get very good sleep. And I think what I've realized is my ability to fall asleep easily is that I have a deep trusting in the universe that it's taking care of me. There have been many times in my career where I've been asked about mindset challenges and overcoming them. I'm actually kind of embarrassed to say that I used to kind of brag about not being a very anxious person and not having a whole lot of issues with stress. In the last couple of years, I've learned a lot about myself and how I was actually dealing with all of those things that I very much had in my life. I just wasn't coming to terms with it in and of myself. And so now I'm understanding that better. But one thing I will say, and the reason I'm leading off with this, is that no matter how many moments I've had that were a bit anxious in the last year as a new mom, or just in the last couple of years as things have been changing in my life, I can't think of a single time, and really only 1 or 2 times in my life prior to all of that, that I've ever really not been able to sleep well. And I feel very blessed and lucky for that. I think there's a lot of people with sleep challenges, but something that has always been very coveted and a huge priority in my life, and I've talked about it on this channel so many times, is the massive value of great sleep. In this video, I wanted to share some of my best sleep tips, especially now that I have entered sort of a different phase in my, let's say, wisdom on this, and what it really means to be anxious and understand what's going on with your mindset so that you can deal with it accordingly. So I've got a lot of tips. I'm going to start with a big one that has been a logistical issue in my sleep as of late. And it is also in partnership with the sponsor of this episode of Amy TV. So for some reason, I don't know, maybe stress or anxiety, or maybe becoming a mom and just doing a lot of things, I have had a really, really hard time with my mattress. For the last number of months, I've been waking up every morning with massive back pain to the point where it's like I feel like I got 20 years older overnight. I can sleep great even if the mattress isn't right for me, but I want to feel good when I wake up after getting the good amount of sleep that I have. So I decided I needed to order a new mattress, and it had to come from SweetNight. I did my research and I could tell that the options they have available from their mattress were going to be right for me. And I didn't need to venture out and lay around in a department store to figure out which mattress is right for me. I can open it up easily from a shipment to my house in my room and make it happen. And it was so easy to open up and expand this mattress and orient it the way that I wanted to try it out. It's really settling to know that if I don't like it, I can still not commit to a mattress that doesn't work for me. But you just open it up and you get to try it, and that is the best thing. You're never going to be able to figure this out in a store. I don't know why people think they can figure out their mattress life in a store. You gotta sleep in it. When I got my SweetNight mattress, one of the things I learned from them is that most memory foam mattresses only have one firmness profile. So this is why I was having the problems I was having before, because that's not really versatile enough since we all sleep differently. You need something that's going to be able to adjust to how you sleep. The SweetNight mattress is totally different. It is a full memory foam mattress, and it has a patented contoured curve design. This basically means it has 3 to 4 firmness profiles in one, which makes it really adjustable and versatile for the sleeper. There are 4 levels of dynamic firmness. You simply, get this, you simply rotate or flip the mattress based on what is best for you. This allows you to choose between soft, medium soft, firm, or medium firm. It turned out I really needed something that was more of a medium soft. I love a soft mattress, but I know I need a bit more support than that, but not so much support that the mattress isn't conforming to my body as I'm sleeping on my side. So that medium soft has been a great spot for me. And that's where I flipped my mattress to. I'm feeling so much better in my back by taking care of myself with the right mattress. And you have to try these things out in order to know when you've found the right one for you. So if you need better sleep and you want to give SweetNight a try, I will leave a link in the description down below, as well as a discount code for you to use when checking out. My next big sleep tip, this is new because I'm in a new phase of my life, is sleep like a baby. When we say the phrase sleep like a baby, let's be honest, we're usually not talking about real babies. Actual babies wake up every 2 hours, okay? And then they get a little older and it stretches out and stretches out. But when you finally get to a point where a baby could be sleeping through the night, there's a lot of stuff you have to do to get them to do that. Some babies are gonna take longer than others. Some babies might become toddlers first. Everyone's gonna be different. I'm gonna be straight up with you here before I give this advice. Recently, somebody told me I had a trick baby. Have you ever had a trick baby? My first question was, what is a trick baby? A trick baby is a baby that convinces you that you should have many more babies because of how much of an angel on earth that they are. So yeah, I have a trick baby. But I think we worked very, very hard to get to the point where she's sleeping all the way through the night, somewhere between 11 and 12 hours. What I learned in that process is that there are some things you got to do in the routine. And part of that routine is having the same bedtime every night. It's going to help them to have the same awake time in the morning. I've also learned this because even if she's late going to bed sometimes, because we have a little bit of flexibility, she still wakes up at the same time the next morning. So I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to get that extra hour or two back. So she goes to bed every night on time for the most part, so that I can keep that in our lives. But just that system of knowing what time bedtime is and knowing what time wake time is probably going to be because of that is such a thing that we need to remember as adults. This is not just about babies, and not all babies are going to do this, but we do know, no matter how old you are, when you teach your body the hours that you tend to start resting and falling asleep and waking up and getting out of bed, you can get on a rhythm. This has been reiterated for me because I started wearing the Aura ring at the beginning of January. It was my little Christmas gift from my husband. I've had my first full quarter of sleep wearing it now, and it told me what my tendency was, when my bedtime tends to be, between which hours, and what time I tend to get out of bed, how long I tend to be sleeping for, how long I tend to be in bed for. And all of these things are really interesting because they're basically telling you the more regular that schedule is, the more likely your body is going to get better and better sleep every time you go. Flexibility comes after the routine. Once you have really solidified a great routine, you can be more flexible. So someday I think I'm going to write a book about how we should really implement some great tips from bringing up babies in our adult life. And this is going to be a massive chapter. Do you have a cadence of when you sleep, so that every night you can sleep a little bit better? My next big sleep tip is one that I've said for a long time. And you know, there's a continuing theme throughout, but I don't sleep with my phone. I absolutely do not sleep with my phone. It stays in the primary bathroom. And if I need an alarm to go off, it's great because it forces me to get out of bed to turn it off. And I got to get the day going if I'm not feeling top notch, which is how I was feeling when my back was hurting. Getting out of bed to turn my alarm off is one little incentive, but the biggest incentive is not having the urge to check Instagram or check email or just look at something arbitrary on this device that is not good for you when you are trying to sleep. I have a nice little alarm clock. It's called a Hatch that's next to my bed. And I only use that from an alarm sense because it has a light that can just slowly start coming on as I'm supposed to be waking up by the time the real alarm is going to go off. And I love that. But mostly I love the white noise that comes out of it and all of the different phases that I can have. I can have like a reading phase with my nightlight, and it's a great device, but it's one of the few devices in my room. My Kindle is in my room. I read my Kindle every night, but I make sure I have a Kindle that's conducive for going to sleep. And believe me, I do, because no matter how interested I am in reading my Kindle, Kindle before bed and I'm like, oh, I'll stay up for another hour and read if I want to. No, I won't. I'm gonna fall asleep. Okay. It doesn't matter how riveting it is. I will fall asleep. And that is because my Kindle is not lit in a way that is going to keep my eyes stimulated and therefore mess with my sleep. The only somewhat rogue device in my room is the baby monitor. I mean, non-negotiable, but it's not that interesting, ideally. So it just kind of sits there unless something's going wrong. My next big sleep tip is that it's okay if you cannot go to sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you cannot fall back asleep, it is okay. I have learned in doing research, because it's easy to start doing stuff, but usually most people will grab their phone and then try to figure out why they can't go back to sleep. Well, you're doing the exact wrong thing. It isn't that you should stay in bed. That may not work. And a lot of people, I think, get very frustrated with that. And then that's what leads to watching television or picking up the phone because they figure, oh, well, I guess I'm done sleeping for the night, so I'll just start my day or do something with my time. But in all actuality, you probably should get out of bed. You might want to take a walk to the kitchen and get a drink of water and just do something with that energy that you seem to have in that moment. But the worst thing you can do is grab a device, because you're just then telling your body that your body is right to not want to sleep and to be up, and you're going to do something with that time. That's going to mess with that rhythm. That's going to mess with the next night. That's going to mess with your energy level for the day. No brainer. But it's not going to help you get back to where you need to be. And while that moment feels really impossible at the time, it's something that you can work through if you keep making good choices. I've really been trying to crack the code on why I have been able to get very good sleep. For the most part, I stay asleep every night without issue, unless something's going on with the baby monitor or whatever. But I fall asleep like a boss. Not too fast, which would be a sign of exhaustion, but in that 7 to 10 minute range of laying my head down, closing my eyes, and falling asleep, I fall asleep so easily. And I want to know why, because I think it's very frustrating when people can't do that. And I want to be able to be helpful for people who have that struggle. So my final sleep tip is probably the most important. And I think what I have realized with this has a lot to do with that anxiety and that challenging mindset issue I was just talking about. It is very rare that I go to sleep worried sick. And I think a lot of times there is something in the back of our mind that we are imagining the worst case scenario on, and it keeps us up at night. Even if it's not feeling awful in the moment, it's probably this like settling of your consciousness that is keeping you from going to sleep. And I think what I've realized is my ability to fall asleep easily and usually stay asleep very well for 7 to 8 hours is that I have a deep trusting in the universe that it's taking care of me. If I'm in a fight with my husband, I go to sleep. Okay? We'll work it out tomorrow, because it's a very high likelihood I'm going to fall asleep and realize it's dumb and we do not need to keep going on about this. And we're going to wake up and be on better terms. And if it needs to lead off with an apology from someone, then great. But sleeping it off is a great option. I trust that we'll get there because I trust in our relationship. I trust that I'm extremely self-sufficient and independent and resourceful. And any issue I'm dealing with that's troubling me right now, I trust I can figure it out. I may not figure it out tomorrow. I may not figure it out by next week. But I know that every challenging situation I have been in thus far, I have figured out. So I'm not losing sleep over it because I just have trust in that. If you're one of these people that has a challenging time with sleep and you feel like maybe there's some underlying things, not just a routine that needs cleaning up a little bit, but some really big stuff that you're shouldering, I really recommend that you start thinking about it a little bit more, not thinking about it in the worst case scenario, but thinking about it as, do you have trust in yourself that you're going to be okay? Do you have trust in the universe or your higher power? Do you have trust in that? Because if you do, it should make you feel a lot better when you go to sleep at night. And you can start doing the other things that are like, put my phone in the bathroom. That's so great. Or like get a better mattress. Really good idea. Go to bed at the same time every night and try to wake up at the same time in the morning. You can do these other things that seem ridiculously silly now, but will compound into something so much bigger for you when you've unlocked the mental stuff that's holding you back. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. Cheers.